have a question about Navy bases and stuff like that with their hard drives. They don't send that stuff back.
They don't, you just mark it that they didn't give it back.
Because they can't, because they have to sanitize it or whatever?
Yeah. Yes.
They call it sanitize.
They have to wipe the hard drive.
Yes.
Well, I've heard them use the word sanitize multiple times, that's why I said it. I don't
They
even
drill
know
a hole in
sanitizer.
it and run a magnet over it, that's all they do. Okay.
Yeah, so they just eat away the part basically.
Yeah.
Okay, so did the point of contact refuse to return the part? That if we mark yes, it means that we are billing the customer for that part on anything but an HP break fix, right? And an HP break fix, we are saying that we aren't in responsibility because your customer refuses to give it to us. So, but on anything else, we are billing that customer directly for that part,
Even on residential.
even on residential.
Damn.
If they refuse to return the part, I am billing them for that part.
And it don't cost what it really does.
I know.
Inflation.
And, okay, but if it's break fix, not TS Atlanta though.
Okay. So what about it?
So if it's break fix and we do point of contact refuse to return part, HP's held responsible,
HP holds responsible for their own parts and their own customers.
that's with any HP.
Any HP.
Okay.
If they order their own parts, they're responsible for it.
And any other contract, we bill them.
We bill them. So we say, hey, we tried.
Sorry, I know that has, I didn't need to know that, but.
It's fine. I'm a wide person. I get it.
Okay, if parts are, I'm sorry, I have one more question about parts. If parts are lost on site, how long do we give the customer to find them before we charge them for those parts and ship more?
We don't.
We don't?
If they're lost on site, the very, okay, so if they're lost on site, your first trip's detail should say, additional parts required.
Okay.
They're immediately billed for T&M parts at that point.
Okay.
Okay, so especially with your contracts, where I know that most of them are maintenance contracts, and we keep them, they're billed at T&M rates for the second set of parts. It's an
Okay.
automatic thing.
If they order the same parts twice?
We order the same parts twice,
Okay.
okay?
Chelsea, what about if the tech goes to pick up the part at the HP depot and another tech's already picked it up?
Tech never in possession of parts.
Okay.
You're talking about HPCE.
Why they do that? You'd think they'd fix that by now, it's such a pain.
Why is
Oh wait, no, that brings us to the next thing. For an HPCE, does the tech get his full pay or does he get a trip charge?
Trip charge.
Because we did every single thing we could, and HP screwed us over.
They can see what, the HPCEs can see what goes into their area, okay? We may be accidentally getting that work order. He may have said, oh, I'm gonna get that tomorrow morning. In the meantime, they sent it to us, and then he goes in, he's already got his information, he goes picks it up. He's done his job by 12 o'clock, and we're still sitting here looking for him.
Because a lot of my pending escalated dispatch, when I call these customers, they're telling me, oh, we have a tech on site already. The tech came and fixed the unit 2 days ago.
See, that's confusing to me.
It is to me too.
Okay. So the tech calls and he's like, at the depot, pick up the parts. HP tech already picked up the parts. Do we call, or they'll give him a trip charge and close it out, put his time in, go to the depot. Do I call HP and get a sub case open?
Nope.
They sent an HPC. They literally
So,
took it.
because they picked it up, then they already went.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, I got a question right there, because whenever that happens, and the tech goes and they say, oh, an HP technician picked it up, like, they'll have tech sign, then their name is HP on the tracking information. Every time that's happened to me, I've never had them say, oh yeah, we're having an HP technician take care of it. Every time I've called HP about that, they're like, oh, I don't know who picked it up.
Yeah,
They do that to me too. I have no idea who this is.
We need to open a sub case and reorder the parts so it can
Yeah.
be fixed now, every time.
And then, so it won't, so it'll be avoided, we'll send it directly to the customer site. So
That,
that's what
what
they
you're
say
seeing
every
there,
time.
what's happening is the person at the depot is not realizing that UPS is now making those people in the back of the depot, when they bring all those parts in, sign for everything. So they may not know that person, John Smith in the back, that's accepting these parts. And the girl up at the front counter might not know who he is. He's the one that's signing for those parts. That's not an HPCE, that's the guy at the depot. So what you have to do is look at the time it was delivered. If it was delivered between 8 and 10:30, 9 times out of 10, that is the depot sign for it, not an HPCE.
Okay, so when that happens, though, you're saying something different from any experience I've ever had. So can you clarify what you're trying to say?
So if an HPCE has run that work order, it
So-
is no longer Barrister's.
Okay, and how do we verify that an HPC has run it? Just because they sign HP on the ticket doesn't mean they ran it, though, we've realized.
So,
Call customer.
Tanya,
Like I called, most times I call the end user and they say, hey, a tech has already been here.
So you call the end user at that point?
Mhm.
Okay, because usually I don't call the end user first because I'm afraid to call the end user and upset them without
Okay.
answers.
A lot of them, they're still pending escalated dispatch, so when I
That
call
still
them
brings
to
me back to my
advise them,
question though.
they tell me
because-
the tech's already been here.
I mean, I've had instances where the part was going to site, I called the customer and they're like, oh yeah, we're good to go. I'm like, your tech is 30 minutes out. And then I don't find out that some other person went there until the tech gets there and he's like, this unit's already fixed. I just talked to you 30 minutes ago and you told me I could send somebody out.
Because you're talking to internal IT instead of talking to the end user.
I'm talking about residences too. These people are stupid.
That's what I'm saying. I'm calling the site and I'm like, and they're telling me, let me stop you right there. I'm like, okay, we're still looking for tech, let me stop you right there, your tech is here now. I'm like, okay, really? And
It's
so, yeah.
confusing.
Yeah, and see, when I get to those, you get them to them in dispatch. When I get to them, it's because a tech's trying to pick up parts and parts aren't there. Do you see what I'm saying? So we get to them at different points in the,
I'm getting sent them messages.
So how do we verify if John Doe, the HP techs who pick up the parts, actually,
pick them up.
actually completed the repair? Because when we call HP, they're talking about a subcase. Oh yeah, I do come from, yes, John picked up the parts, yes. This time, I'm gonna send them directly to the customer site, so this won't happen again, and open up a subcase.
Yeah,
Oh my
and
God,
this
that
is
was
hard.
Let them do it. Let them go ahead and do it, and then when I call a customer, he'll say, my unit's fixed, and I hit the cancel button.
That's what I
and
do.
it's on its way.
But if we
Just
can
let 'em go ahead and
prevent,
send it.
if we can prevent that extra order, that extra time,
We can't.
but if she calls the end user, and the end user, she says, you know,
Yeah.
just it would almost be along the lines of a survey, just doing a follow-up call to see how, you know, and they'll, if you give a few words, oh, I'm just calling a courtesy call, usually people give them an opportunity, they will rattle off all the information that you need. So instead of going through all the subcases and the ordering, yes, no,
Well, the thing is, like, if I call an end user,
what?
she
said I hate subcases. I think if you can prevent the subcase, then you might as well, because after 4, or after 3, we no longer get paid for.
You know,
Answer her question.
So her question is, if an HPCE is working on the ticket, do we close the ticket or cancel the call?
Close.
So the answer
If we have a tech.
is, if it's assigned, we'll close the call. We'll take the technician off, make sure you talk to the technician or leave him a voicemail, send him an email, I don't care. You communicate with that technician, he's not supposed to go to site. And then you will close the ticket.
Yep.
okay, so, like I was saying, so when I get to this, and this point, we've already set an ETA with this customer is expecting a technician, so I know that an HPCE must have not been there, or most likely, unless the person's retarded, because they just confirmed an ETA with us, and they know a tech's on his way, because I confirmed that earlier. So I'm calling them to be like, somebody else picked up the parts, is usually how it is. So, but before I call them to say that, I want to have that other subcase going, so I can be like, sorry, we had a little hiccup, the whole facility accidentally gave the parts to someone else, we reordered them, we're going to go ahead and, what would, go ahead, no what? What? Go ahead, tell me.
No part of that was right.
Okay, go ahead. Please, go ahead.
Not even close. First of all, you don't ever tell a customer that you don't know who picked up their parts. Second of all, you just say, oh, you know what? It looks like another HP tech has already gone out because you're still HP.
Yeah.
So if you tell them that you don't know Joe Blow just came and took your stuff, they're gonna freak out on you and us and HP and then the partner and then Chelsea and I get yelled at because that's not fun for anybody.
and they are not nice. Why did 3 technicians show up at my site at the same day? Well, who the hell is Bannister? you, and I'm like, oh my god, nobody watched it.
Just FYI, I've never used the word hiccups or whatever. I'm saying I don't want to call an end user saying that. So,
Right.
what do I do? I'm saying I haven't done that and I don't want to do that. So how would you guys, when I come across that situation, I want you guys to tell me.
Barrister,
we're not Barrister, we're
How is everything going with your unit?
Well, yeah, but
And then if they say the
it's.
change hasn't been there, then you get their new subcase open, their new parts ordered.
Yeah.
And you just,
No, y'all don't understand my question. What I'm asking is, at the point that I know an HP technician picked up the parts, and HP, well, no, and
who are
HP
you
said,
working for?
huh?
Who you work for?
Wait, I don't think y'all understand my question.
No, we do. You're not
Yeah.
understanding the answering.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Like she said, who do you work for? You work for Barrister.
Yes.
So if HP took this ticket from you, they took it. You don't own it anymore. You can stop working it. You're officially working for free.
Well, like, okay.
Stop. Just stop. At that
But
point.
how do we know that an HP tech picks up the parts? If they sign, like, I had a Michael Brown. My
If your
technician's
tech
name was
didn't-
Kenneth.
Then you know right then and there. If that tech's name is not the same as your tech, you automatically know that you don't know this person, and he picked up the parts. So at that point, your common sense kicks in and says, well, if it's not my tech, then it's got to be theirs.
Okay.
And you just let it go. You call the customer, confirm that the unit's fully functional. If it is, you close out the call.
Well,
if a technician's
it's not
assigned.
fully functional because we have an ETA and the tech's never been there before because they just confirmed that ETA. So I'm saying I gotta call this customer and be like,
No,
this ETA
no.
is canceled.
No. Yes.
Sarah, you're making it harder than it has to be.
I do that.
You're over.
Quit, just for a second, just quit talking. Just stop, yeah, just stop talking and listen,
Okay.
and quit thinking.
Okay.
take a deep breath.
Your technician's at the depot. This part has already been picked up.
You're dying.
You check the part and it shows that John Smith signed for this part. That's not your tech's name. At that point, you are done with this ticket. If you would like to call the customer and just advise them that another technician will be coming out, that's fine. You can do that. You don't know specifics, so I wouldn't get too depth into the conversation. But you can just be like, hey, there is another technician coming out, and HP will be in contact with you. If you have any questions, you can call 800-999-3558, option 2, option 1. It is no longer us. You officially are handing it back to them because they have swiped it from underneath you.
And then I close the call.
You close it. If a technician has been assigned, you close it.
So no longer do I call HP and let them
You were done.
order. So
You're
we don't
done.
do that anymore.
No.
Nope,
All
and if they don't fix it,
We don't do that.
I will call
After
you.
call the customer and say, just checking on your unit.
Yes.
Is everything good to go? If they say no, that's when you revert back and get your new subcase open.
Yes.
Yep.
See, and that's where I'm confused.
Why?
See, that's where that's where I'm getting conflicted.
Why?
If an HP technician has picked up the parts and it's their possession, they've taken the call back, why is it Barrister's responsibility at that point to check with the
Do
customer
you
to make
wanna,
sure?
do you wanna deal with this angry customer?
I'm asking.
Because
that
they
I-
still think we're HP.
They think we're HP.
Okay, but at that point, we're not HP anymore. It's actually HP's responsibility. So if they call us screaming, we should say, hey,
But we
This
can't
is
just
the
get on the
number
phone,
you
hey,
need
I'm
to
not
call.
HP.
Right.
right?
That's why.
It's common courtesy.
Can I?
It's common courtesy to
Okay.
try to, if you have DMs like I have,
I feel like a little humor is
No matter what anybody in this room does, where that situation, I still have to call as an HP rep. No matter what went on, I still have to call. Even if they shipped their part or their unit to the depot, I have to call as an HP rep. I get cursed out lots because there's lack of communication. Always. Why
It's
do
just
we-
part of being a customer service
I
representative.
get told
You just do
that
customer
we
service.
suck so much. I cannot tell that we're Barrister unless it's been 2 or 3 plus trips, or either they answer the phone and like a man last week, I said, hey, this is Chelsea with HP, just wanted to call real quick, make sure your unit's still fully functional.
you're with
Not
Barrister.
even. And I had to to call him back and be like, sir, don't hang up, please, Jesus, don't stop. We're really not HP, we're a third-party vendor. Then he started. You can't say that you're Barrister until all the bad happened and they start cursing HP. Then you could swoop in and be like, hey, we're not HP, we were solely responsible for your tech. But you have to pull good information about the technician before you can say that.
Well, why do we do those calls to people in here should contact them and be like, we're Barrister, we're partners with HP?
I don't understand either.
See, because in my,
Work them up and let them know that we're not HP no more, but we still HP. That's so confusing.
I
agree with that.
What
No, we
Shannon
don't
taught
do
me was to always say, I'm calling on behalf of.
you know, I'm telling you, I'm calling on behalf
For
of
the HP repairs.
HP, but I'm Barrister, we're partnered with HP.
I will
Because
never
that's
ever
the
again
ICC
say
said
that
that
I'm
we're
HP
their
or Xerox without saying on behalf of, because once they find out you're Barrister, they don't trust you anymore because you've been lying and saying you're HP. But if you said, I'm calling on behalf.
That's what I
they
normally
can't
say, I'm
you're a
calling on
liar.
behalf, and then 99% of the time, when I say I'm calling on behalf, and then, oh, are you from Barrister? Well, HP told me they wasn't gonna be using a third party.
So Ms. P says open the subcase.
Well, you know, and in that, if they start getting you like in a battle of words or whatever, don't leave out third party, leave out that whole little phrase of third party, and they say, oh well, I was told we can say Barrister manages HP technicians, and so they still think that we're affiliated with HP, that we are sending HP technicians, but that the company that you work for is Barrister. We just manage HP's technicians for them, and you get out of that third party phrase.
Is this an okay? What I sometimes do to kind of do that is I'll say we're the service company that works with HP, or we're the HP service company. You're dealing with their warranty department. Is that okay?
I think it's fine.
So my question is now, Ms. P was saying open the subcase. You're saying not
If it's
to.
not fully functional.
What are you saying to do?
So, whether I work HP, and it's every time that I work HP, I see that an HPCE has either picked up my parts or gone to the depot, or completed my call. If the HPCE has gone and completed my call, I see her.
Okay, because she's asking exactly what I'm thinking.
I see her. So if I call the customer, or if my parts are picked up, right? I'm calling this, I'm tracking my parts and they say that they've been picked up. And I've called the depot and I've said, hey, are you sure you don't have my part? And you can tell that they're just tracking it. No, we don't have your part, but it's signed for by this person. And I said, well, I'm kind of a sneaky person, right? So I tell them, well, I don't have anybody that works like that. I don't have anyone that works for me by that name. Are you sure someone just didn't sign for it in the back? Okay, so that kind of gets you out of your, well, you don't really know who picked up your parts. You don't know if they're there. So the way that I do it is I always call them. I'm like, all right, I am Mary Beth Castle's assistant. She told me to call you guys. She told me to ask you where these parts are. Work perfect. Where these parts are and why someone else, why when I track them, someone else is signing for them. I don't know who this person is. You've officially lost my parts. When you say that they've lost your parts, they will find someone in that building named that person. They will find your parts. And if they really have lost your parts, and they were like, well, no, like nobody here works by that name. We can go ahead and try and get your part back. We can try and figure out whatever they're gonna do. Put a trace on your part. They're never gonna find your part. Just say, no, you know what? No, I'll handle it. I'll just reship the part. No big deal. Back out. Call HP. Let them know HPC picked up my parts. Barrister is now closing this case. If you would like Barrister to continue service, open a new case.
Right. Okay, got it.
A new case. You will close the work order. It will no longer be Barrister.
I can do that. So not a sub case, a new case.
Right.
A new
So
case.
don't call the customer at all anymore.
You're more than welcome to
I
call
mean,
the
your customer is sitting
Waiting
there.
for an ETA.
Waiting,
Waiting.
right, I do, as a courtesy.
So, right.
And what do I tell the customer? Because I'm gonna tell them that we don't have parts, right?
Just don't tell them, you don't know who took them.
So what do I tell them?
Just
There was a
tell them
part
you're
delay?
calling to check on the case, check on the unit.
Well, they're waiting for an ETA.
Hi,
Go
y'all.
ahead.
Hey.
Sorry.
So, CRS 101 wants to call the tech, call the customer. Right. So no matter what, you are going to call the tech and call the customer. That is on every single ticket unless the contract is marked is you can't call it contact the customer, right? HP break fix, you're going to communicate, you're gonna overly communicate because I get my butt chewed on because we don't communicate very well. We're not effective communicators. I'm trying to change that. Not just in my personal life, guys, like in Barrister too, right? So we're going to call the tech, and we're gonna say, hey tech, I just want to let you know you're not going to this ETA, an HPC has picked up my parts, or an HPC has picked up my parts and they're going to site. Then you're gonna call the customer. Customer, I just wanted to call on behalf of HP, let you know that HPC will be getting to you as soon as possible. We'll be calling you back with a definitive ETA. You're not lying. You're not telling fib. You are letting them know, and HPCE will be calling them with an ETA.
And what happens to the ETA we had with them? What do we say about that?
They don't need to say anything.
No, because at that point, my customer has already confirmed an ETA for today,
Yeah.
usually.
Right. So you can tell them, and HPCE will be calling to confirm your ETA.
Your new ETA. You don't think they're gonna say what happened to my old one?
Well, don't say your
Don't say your new
Don't
ETA.
say your
Let it
ETA.
all
We'll
come
confirm
from you.
your ETA.
If you have any questions, just give them that number.
800-999-3558.
Okay, got it.
Option 1, give them their case number.
They're, okay, not the Barrister number.
No,
obviously.
Obviously. Okay, can I just say one more thing regarding this that I've come across? Shannon, don't even with me right now. Okay, so the only other thing that I would be worried about with these things is one time I thought an HPCE picked up my parts because it was a different name than my technician. It was my tech's either coworker because they were working in like a company.
Like he
So
works
we
for
have to,
London.
but I couldn't get in touch with my tech to verify that. So it was I don't remember exactly how I resolved the issue, but I remember it was a pain because I didn't know if it was an HP tech, and it ended up not being an HP tech, but I couldn't get in touch with my tech to confirm it.
Why do we have people working under the wrong gas ID?
Don't ask me that.
No, I
I'd love
have
to
to ask
know.
you that. No, I have to ask you that because you're allowing your tag team to do that. You're a
Oh, no,
manager
I-
over, stop, you're a manager over a case.
Okay.
Your job. Specifically your job. Everyone else's job is a little bit different than yours. Yours is to make sure that ticket does not go wrong. Nothing in that ticket is allowed to go wrong as long as it's white gloved and vulnerable, right?
Yes.
Okay, so you just told me that a different technician picked up your parts. You did something wrong.
Well,
Nope, nope.
my
nope.
tech had the parts, is what I'm saying. And
But you just said that a different technician picked up
no,
the parts.
someone else signed for them. I don't remember if it was a different tech or if it was his friend or whatever. He had someone else go pick up those parts.
Why? Why are you telling me that someone else picked up someone else's parts?
Is that against the rules? The tech has to
All
pick them up.
means, if that tech is responsible for those parts,
He needs to keep it in.
why wouldn't you?
So I submitted him for coaching. But what else can I do
So
with
let me
that?
ask you a question, do some techs work up on the,
Yeah, they're not
Okay,
supposed to.
because I-
supposed to do that.
because I'm about to say, I've had instances where I'm saying, oh, this such tech came and say, oh, that's not the tech that was on site yesterday. That's
Yeah.
not the one.
Jerome
So-
has text
so-
work under him.
Right, so we have, it's what it's called is an umbrella, right? In our business, it's called an umbrella. We have a BAS ID. He's the one that gets paid,
Mhm.
right? And then he has 5 people under him, right? And he's still the one that gets paid for all these 5 people, but they all have to have their own BAS ID, and we have to know the name of the technician going.
See, because
And
in
that's
that
not
instance,
happening.
his name was on, the head person's name was on our vest. But the lady was telling me that wasn't who was on site.
Yeah,
that's like Kevin
Fitzpatrick.
I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And Matt always goes.
And
That's who
you
it was?
submitted for coaching.
Kevin McLaughlin and John Duplitt goes. Yeah, there's a
Stop.
bunch of them.
Stop, getting off topic. You're just talking now. No, it doesn't.
I'm gonna make a rule. No, I'm gonna make a rule. Whatever section you're going over, hold questions until she's done and say, does anybody have any questions? This is gonna be going on until 9 p.m. tonight if we keep going at this rate. It's not your fault. It's not your fault. I'm just saying, when you get done with the section, say, does anybody have questions? Instead of us interrupting you every 3 minutes, every 30 seconds with a question.
Can't we have
Just if the technician, if it's a different technician that goes to site, I submit a coaching form and everything. Do I need to notify tech management?
when you submit your coaching form, it automatically sends to tech management.
Okay, because I don't know who I'm confirming with.
When you submit your coaching form, automatically send to tech management. And if you want to really CRS your ticket, you'll tell him until he gets a BAS ID made, he'll be off the ticket. You might piss some people off, but that's process.
Wait, what are we talking about?
Technicians with, under an umbrella, so technicians working under another technician.
We've established it's a problem. Next topic, please. I want to get out of here at a decent hour.
4 o'clock.
Yes, Ms. P.
Ms. B?
We do have technicians that will be on site that will send people from their office to the depots to pick up their parts.
And they better sign them as that person.
So they need to sign as the tech. Got it.
That's who's responsible for those parts. Alright, so, the final step in a PTC screen is the closing questions. NA is never an acceptable answer. Ever. Ever. Calmly as I can say that, please. What's the serial number of the new unit? It should be processed as if we replace the unit, okay? If we did not replace the unit.
Does not apply or not?
So you mean like if they totally replace a brand new printer or whatever, then that's the serial number you're looking for off of that brand new printer that
Yes.
they replaced, okay?
Yes.
But if not, if they just install parts in the old printer, you don't worry about the serial number?
Right, because it's not a new serial number.
Okay.
And it's not a new unit.
So you just put unit not replaced?
Unit not replaced. So, what work was performed while on site? Detailed information will help you greatly. So when I get client escalations, it's usually because
As a tech support note. Tech support note or tech note?
That's what I see every time I'm closing out tickets, every single delay
and
code.
every single time you see that, you should escalate to that person's manager. Because that is not an acceptable note.
Okay, yeah.
That is what I get my butt chewed on every single day.
That's all I see.
That is not an acceptable note. Every single person who can close out calls has been trained on this, has signed training rosters, is written up for this. I do not want to see this ever again. Clear? So, if the tech went to site and he installed X parts, I want to know he installed this part, he installed this part, he tested 100 prints, the unit is fully functional. Understood?
Everything you
And
did.
the text BAS ID, right? Name and BAS ID?
Not name.
The name would be good.
So if you scroll down to the bottom,
Yeah, it gives you that information.
Yeah, I just
It's
copied
down
and pasted
here.
it. I didn't know, so it had to be in there.
So tech BAS ID, blah, 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 installed, whatever.
Okay.
That'll help in when we when we research tickets and stuff. Absolutely. But I never want to see a vague note like tech installed parts or tech performed required work. That's my favorite too. Tech performed required work. The end. Huh? What was required? What was the scope of work? What
Most of
did
the
he
time
do?
the tech put that though.
Because additionally, what
Yeah.
this does is this goes into our history. So say we have a ticket 28 days later, which is still in our warranty period, right? We have a 30-day ticket warranty where we are still responsible for those parts. Parts fail. Tech performed required work. I have a part marked as installed, displayed this correctly, I have whatever. This is also to make you pay attention to your details. So we installed this part, he installed this part, he installed this part. The unit tested fully functional because he ran 100 test prints. He ran 50 pages through. There was no blue line. Whatever it is. I gotta know what he tested, how he tested it, and you gotta know what he did. Otherwise, it's null and void. You didn't do anything there. Did you change a hard drive? If yes, did the technician begin restore recovery? If not, email white.glove. So you all know that on a hard drive, we're not technically responsible for software. However, we are not supposed to be going on site without letting the customer know. They have to have the restore disks because we have a lot of escalations back from HP saying, hey, your tech went on site and no one ever told this customer that they had to have restore disks. So now they're down and out without a computer because it lasted 20 days without anything. Like you can't even turn it on, right? What?
If HP's troubleshooting with these customers and ordering their parts.
I don't care what HP does.
Okay,
I care what Barrister does.
I know, but,
And it's in the script that they have to tell them, hey, you need your restore disks.
okay,
Do you have your restore disks? No? Let me give you this phone number. Go order them.
okay.
Do you want us to put your ticket on hold until then, until you get them, awesome. We'll put it on customer hold until you go and get them. Make sense? It's in the script. It's expected. I don't care if HP's telling them that if HP's troubleshooting it and orders this part. I don't care. This is what Barrister does, and our lack of communication is what's brought us into this room. Okay? Attention to detail and lack of communication. So, did you change a hard drive? Yes or no? No. No is a completely acceptable answer. No. It answers the question without being wordy.
Don't look at me like that.
Don't do it. Without being wordy, without being confusing, it answers my question, right? Did you change, repair a motherboard? Also in the script is to the technician for motherboards. Did you, if you're going to install a motherboard, are you prepared to tattoo the unit? Something to that effect, right? They have to tattoo, unless it's a Dell, they have to tattoo the motherboard. Okay.
Never mind.
Alright, those are your closing questions for HP. You would click finish, and it would bring you into call close. I can't finish this because none of that's accurate.
I have a question about this. If you would, let's say you would have went to call close if that information would have been accurate. Because a lot of times when I'm closing tickets and I do it, and it brings me back a message like this call cannot be moved to close. And then when it flips back to the actual face of the call, it'll say at the bottom the reason why the call can't be closed and it'll be invalid port status. And I don't, I go back and look at it again, and I'm like, now what am I missing? Did I not click on something that I was supposed to do? Did the tech not supply something that he was supposed to? And I just can't find why that happens.
Okay.
Could you tell me?
So, yes, I can. Usually it is marked as one of the brand new fields that we just added to the tech. It was delivered to the wrong address, tech never in possession part, whatever.
Okay.
Okay, so it's usually like that. In those instances, BAM still has a hiccup where it's not letting us close out like that.
Okay.
It's not setting the correct code. So when you get those, I need to know the ticket number.
Okay.
So I can go to BAM and say, hey, this status needs to be changed.
Oh, okay.
And this is why.
Okay, I thought it was something I was missing.
No.
Like,
Not
what is
missing
the
anything like that.
problem?
It's just a BAM pickup, and until I can say
Right, which one?
exactly
is what?
which ones.
Okay, I'll write them on the side for you.
Yeah, send them an email. So that email goes forward straight to Michelle.
Mm-hmm.
And Doll and Michelle.
Okay.
So then we're in call close. Push the call close button. Real difficult here. Closing calls and stuff.
Apparently it's more difficult than.
No, the pending technician completion screen is more difficult than anything because that's where you disposition your parts. Closing calls is quite simple.
Drinks is super easy.
That's really unfortunate, Crackers. Okay, so closing calls is not hard at all. For HP calls, you will have a repair code, you have a delay code, and you have a quality code. Is everybody familiar with the repair code, the quality code, and the delay code?
Yes.
Okay. If you're not, I will make you copies. Actually, I will just make everyone copies, okay? We'll have the HP codes. They're beautiful, and they make my job a lot easier.
And no for the
Yes. Okay, so what I would like everyone to do is just go through your sort of closure really quickly. Make sure that technician's not going to be charged for anything he wasn't supposed to. Make sure that he's dispositioned correctly. Make sure those parts are dispositioned correctly. Be sure that you're paying attention to detail. You don't have to click anything else. Just make sure that it's right. Additionally, here, our arrival time and our complete time are where we have a lot of mess ups because we'll go like 12 12/2014, and we'll close it at 12/13/2014, whatever, and that's 24 hours different. We did not stay on site for 24 hours. We need to make sure that we're careful about that stuff. Okay, so, the repair code class, repair components, parts are replaced. Makes sense? You have different delay codes. They're on this page, or repair codes, they're on this page. Okay. You'll be able to tell what it was based on the notes. You do need to refresh yourself on the notes. Brief, you don't have to read every single one. I don't blame you if you don't. But you need to make sure you're familiar with the ticket that you're closing out. By all means necessary. If your delay code is going to be your response met or not met, this is going to be able to determine exactly what code we're sending. So when we say delay codes, reject resolution, this is what it is, right? If it's response met, then obviously you're going to hit response met. Again, all of these can be found on this lovely sheet of paper. I'll have it laminated for you all if necessary. We will get this right. Every one of us will start coding correctly. In the quality codes, no issues. There's a lot of them. You can modify this. These should be correct. They should be correct. We want to make sure that they are correct before we actually send that closure, so we can stop having 40 tickets on 90 days or more. Okay? Problem resolution, make sure that it's right. Don't send a problem resolution where the technician, what?
Go back over your repair class code. They need to know there's other options.
Yeah, there's tons of options.
Miss P.
Because if it's not a complete repair, it needs to say incomplete repair.
Well, right, so we're not gonna complete a repair that says we're gonna code an IR as an IR. We're not gonna code an IR as a complete repair. This, if you mark it as an incomplete repair and you close out a ticket, it sends them HP an email that says, open my sub case. Right? So you mark it as incomplete repair, and then whatever the code is, the delay code is, we delayed it. My favorite delay code is number 8. Number 1, 0 is okay. 0 is really good.
Very rare.
Very rare, but really good. 8's my favorite though. That's a customer cost delay.
Make sure they know they gotta go in and update those times then before this is closed out. If the customer truly caused that delay. Sorry.
Got this. We've talked about updating the requested already, so I shouldn't have to touch base on that again. You should already noted that. There's somewhere on the paper in your mind. I don't know, I don't care. So your service end date and your fixed time need to be the exact same time. Double check this before you close the call. They have to be the exact same time, or they're going back to reject resolution no matter what. Okay? So double check that your end date and your fixed time are the exact same. No minute differentiation. Okay? The service start date is going to be your start time. So your arrival time, right? Your service end date is going to be your completion time. If you're looking at it from that perspective, that's what it's going to be. And then your fixed time is going to be also the same thing. They're one trip tickets. Repair hours, you can do math. Travel hours, again, you can do math, whatever. It's not necessary. Those are auto-populated. And then who confirmed fully functional is always mandatory. We do need to say that it's not fully functional in this note if it's not fully functional. Okay? So if the unit said that, incomplete repair, and we sent it that Beverly Wood from this fully functional, we're not making sense. We're going to get a reject resolution. Okay? Additionally, when you go into call close and it is an IR, please, this button right here, it's a beautiful button. It shows up on a report. That helps me. And it helps you do your job as well. So this button is pending HP new case. Every day, we have someone calling HP saying, hey, we never got your sub case, why? you're delaying service, HP, I need you to send your sub case. HP, do your job, right? We have someone doing that every single day. And the only way they know is if we do this. Okay, so you have to click the HP new case button if it's an IR, click save service order, and then go in and close your call correctly. Okay?
Cereal food processors.
I just have very quick, and you can only do that when it's in call close.
No.
That one. No, you
That
can
button
do it.
works whenever.
Okay.
It works whenever, but I mean, you want to be honest about it, so.
But if you're in, if
If
you're
you
in,
see and you're going to
Yeah.
request it, then yes.
okay.
It has to work. You're gonna code it with IR, yes.
Ms. P has a question.
Yes,
Those
Chrissy?
times on that closing sheet, I thought they auto-populated with what we put in that,
Going forward, they will.
okay.
However, we do want to pay attention to detail. We want to make sure they get done. And they are correct. So we have people pointing fingers left and right. I'm tired of pointing fingers, saying that India did this, saying that CRS did this, saying that Las Vegas did this. I don't care. Everyone's responsible for the calls that they close. Everyone's responsible for the calls that they run. Okay? So you run a call. It's in your name. You were here every day that it ran. It's your responsibility to make sure that it went. And it's right. Does that make sense? So we found that we had an issue where we had the
I wasn't checking the times, because I thought it auto-populated
right,
all the
and it does, but the recent our founding fathers recently decided that they would put the service start date as the dispatch time, the end date as the on-site time, and the other one,
The end date.
the complete time or whatever, as the completion time, right? And that's not right. So since then we fixed it proactively, but proactively, but retroactively, we're still having this issue. So we still have about 200 or something cases to close for HP that have been in there. That we have to check their times. If the times aren't right, then we're going to reject resolution and we'll have the same issue that we have currently. Which is about 150 tickets that won't go anywhere.
We have to check the time.
Just keep going circles and circles and circles.
What if they're not up there?
What?
I had a couple in reject where, see where you have your row, your trip number, bags, all that. They were not in there.
So do we have a trip?
Well, yes,
Then it would be there.
there wasn't.
It has to be. So if it's not, I need to know that because that's a band issue. It has to be there because you have to be able to click on this button here.
Right, yeah, there was nothing there. Like there was the service start date, end date, all that stuff was filled in, but there was no line.
And that's a band issue, I'll need to know about that ticket, those tickets, those instances. Because the reason that this is built is so we can go in and edit.
Right.
So, Charlie, to answer your question, the email gets sent to HP for them to open a new subcase. And we have the pending HP button for internal purposes, so we can babysit them. Because they're not doing their job. Make sense? Anybody have any questions about call close? You know how. You know what you're looking for. You're never gonna put in it. Again, a bunch of blank
Not
stares.
now.
I don't think we do it, I think the tender should do it. No, I do it.
I have put,
After-
not applicable
New
under
people.
things before, but as far as what work to check complete, I've always been very
Yeah.
detailed.
Is that acceptable?
Not applicable.
Yeah.
In what circumstance? I feel like, no.
Like if the
But
serial
the serial
number,
number,
or
or
if the unit wasn't replaced.
Black and white shirts, that's for color now.
Why don't you just put it in a monochrome?
That's what I put, but
So you're answering that question, but you're not answering with an NA because let's just be brutally honest. Our partners hire us because they don't want to have to babysit, right? They want us to do that. They hire us for service, so we have to provide 100% service. So if it's asking for a color count that's a monochrome printer, we're just gonna let them know, hey, this is a monochrome printer.
Okay.
Right? Yeah. Or if it's asking for a maintenance counter and it's a color printer, this is a color printer, no maintenance counter accepted.
This is a case.
Candace?
Yep.
Hey, it's Charlie. I have a question that I can't really type.
That's okay.
So when you're past the PTC screen and you're on that last closure screen, there's that little box that's in the left-hand corner that has the reason for closure, where it says phone, fix, hardware. Are we not still supposed to mess with that, or are we coding that? Because before we were just leaving it alone.
No, you should be coding that. So, this is a hardware failure, obviously. We have parts, hardware failure. These are pretty self-explanatory. If this is a phone fix due to toner, then we need to advise it's a phone fix due to toner. If it was a phone fix due to configuration, so the tech went, or no tech to site, our tech support team walked the end user through reconfiguration, or the internal IT team did a reconfiguration, and we let them know that was the issue. We're gonna close it as a phone fix, config, phone fix clear, clearing print queues, and then no parts needed would be a labor only case. So like we went to site and moved a bunch of furniture. Make sense?
Okay, so in these instances, like if it's a diag and they didn't need to order parts, you just close it as no parts needed?
Yes.
Okay.
What is your confused face for, Candace?
They have to match, and they don't match.
What don't match? Huh?
If you go back to where you just were,
Uh-huh.
there, if you choose no parts needed, then repair components, parts replaced is not valid.
Right.
So they don't match is the problem. So people are putting repair components, parts replaced, and that's not the case. If you scroll down, then there's other choices. So, I mean, it's great that they're changing the thing, but they don't match, and then that gets rejected too.
So everything has to match.
Everything has to make sense.
Yes.
So you can't make sense. So you can't change one and not the other.
One of these things.
So I just
So what is your confused face for? I don't understand. To me, that makes sense.
they're not
Components or parts replaced.
they're not doing a closure reason. They're just not. It always says hardware failure.
Okay, so can we fix this going forward, team? You can make sure that you're paying attention to detail. Closure reason is correct. Okay. Does that make sense? Does that answer your question, Charlie?
It does, except for usually when I come across it, a lot of the time that field is blank, so that's why I was asking.
Which field?
So, but if we change that one, then we need to change the repair code.
Well, it has to match, so not necessarily, but if it's blank and it's supposed to be a hardware failure, and that's what we're coding it as, then it needs to match. You wouldn't need to change the code, you would just need to change the hardware failure.
Right, just make sure they match. Okay.
Is everyone clear? I feel like I got a lot of blank stares just now. Sure. Okay.
I have a question too on the closed calls on that screen. Because sometimes when you get to it, let's say like if it needs, it's asking for an IP address and the color page count and all of this. A lot of times all of that is blank. Even after sometimes the tech has uploaded his RFS in the system, and when you look at that screen, it's blank. So it won't allow, if that's blank, and you don't have anything to put in there, it's not gonna allow you to close it out.
Why don't have anything to put in there? That's kind of the concept, is that you're not going to be allowed to close it out unless we have this question answered.
Right, but what I'm saying is, my question is, I guess, is why is that not there? If the tech has entered his information, why is it not on that screen? Because when you see that, then that makes you have to call the tech up or whatever to ask him these questions.
So, if he's uploaded his RFS, there's no phone call necessary.
Right, so you just
Pull
need
his
to.
RFS, make sure it's on there, and then put that information. If he has not uploaded his RFS, then obviously you're gonna call him and say, hey, you didn't do it right, let's walk through this again.
And put the information so you can close. Okay, I'll just know
Additionally,
that's not there.
if it's blank and he went through the portal and did it himself, go through your trip details, because more than likely he put in A for a few things.
Okay,
We wanna make sure that you're paying attention to detail as well.
right.
If it's a call that we close, like we didn't send the technician out there, and it's for a printer, because it's usually printer calls that have all that.
Right.
What would be, we didn't provide any service, so what would be the appropriate way to answer those questions where it asks for the IP and the maintenance life and the count and all
And we
that?
didn't have a technician on site?
Yeah,
No technician on site?
No technician on site will answer each box.
okay. And this is case specific. For State Farm, their closing notes combine whether it's a desktop, laptop, or a printer. They have the printer questions down at the bottom. If it's not applicable, if it's a laptop replacement and I'm closing the call, then I put NA for all the printer questions down at the bottom. Should I just put, I don't delete anything out of the closing notes. I answer all the questions that need to be answered.
So don't, I mean, I feel like it's just not answering a question. It's not answering a question at all.
So if they're not, if the questions don't apply, get rid of
Does
them.
not apply.
Or
If
does
you wanna fill them out, does not apply, copy and paste it all the way down. I don't care.
Alright.
For me personally, I delete questions. And I mean, if it's not applicable, it's not applicable, right? Does not apply to you, because it's a laptop repair, and you answered every laptop question. There's no reason for them to say, hey, well, what about this printer? Well, we don't open tickets from more than one unit at a time.
Okay.
Delete it. That's how I would do it. You're more than welcome to say does not apply. Yes, ma'am.
Well, we thought that for what y'all were talking about, if it asks for a page count and all that stuff, it has to be a number.
Yes.
Right, so you wouldn't put.
No, it doesn't physically have to be a number. Something has to be in the box.